Good afternoon. We'll call the meeting to order. The meeting of the Sacramento Metro Cable Television Commission is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel of Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and is webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv and will replay on Saturday, June 30th, 2018 at 2 p.m. on Metro Cable 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker slip, identification form located at the podium, and hand it to the clerk. Renee, can you do the roll call?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Bryant. Dietrich. Petrick.
Here.
Hedges. Paulo.
Here.
McKee.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
Hewer. Natoli. Schmidt.
Here.
Nava.
Here.
Fox.
Here.
Gatewood.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Board Member Lisa Nava to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Gladly. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lisa. So we have a new alternate board member, Matt Reed. Matt, welcome. And if you wouldn't mind taking a minute, give us a little background, who you are, so that way we have an idea who we're working with.
Absolutely, and thank you very much, Chair. My name is Matt Reed. I'm Steve Hansen's Chief of Staff coming over from the City of Sacramento. Been with Steve for about 2 years, graduate of McGeorge School of Law, and I grew up in Woodland, actually nerdly watching Metro Cable as I was growing up, so it's strange to be in this seat now, but really fun. So I appreciate the opportunity and appreciate those that have helped me kind of get ready for this meeting. So thank you very much to Bob. Appreciate the heads up and the introduction, and to Karen as well. Thank you.
Yeah, just remember, be careful what you wish for. Welcome. We have an item that we need to pull. We need to pull item number 9, and it is anticipated for the October meeting. So that is the only change we have to the agenda at this point. Renee, could you read the next item, please?
Your next item is this conference with legal counsel.
Do we need to read the items into the record, or?
Yeah, could you read all 3 items into the record?
Absolutely. Your first item is your conference with legal counsel of existing litigation. Is that what you want?
You could read the case names. So for example, Comcast
Yes.
of Sacramento versus SMCTC, case number 216 CV 01264 WBS EFB, and then I could leave the rest of the other 2 items to you.
And then your next one, name of the case would be SMCTC versus Comcast Cable Communications, LLC, case number 218-CV-00500. And your last one is your case number SMCTC v. Comcast Cable Communications Management, LLC, case number 218-AT-00694.
Thank you. The board will adjourn to closed session now.
I anticipate this probably will not take more than 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. we're reconvening the regular meeting after closed session. Harriet, could you report out?
There's no reportable action on any of the items.
Okay, thank you. Renee, next item, please.
Your next item is your fiscal year 2018-2019 general fund and PEG fee fund proposed budgets.
Okay, we'll open the, oh, I guess you're gonna, sorry, getting ahead of myself.
Good afternoon. Bob Davison, your Executive Director, and I will present the 2018-2019 budget. And with that, I have a PowerPoint presentation, so if staff can please load the presentation. Okay, we need to back that up. Okay, again, I'm here to present the 1819 budget for both the general fund, which is 94A, and the PEG fee fund, which is 94B. And just to get it out of the way at the beginning, PEG means Public Education and Government. It's an acronym we will probably use throughout this presentation, so I might as well throw that one out at the beginning. So first I'll talk about the general fund budget, which is 94A. This pie chart is a representation of the entire budget. Total expenditures are 25.99, I would say averages to 26 million. It's a lot more than we're used to, so let me explain that from the offset. You see two big pieces of the pie, and they are related to the revenue distributions to the member agencies. And because of the June 28th being when we're holding this meeting, it's not possible to actually send the revenue checks out in June. So what happens is we're sending the revenue checks for the revenue distributions for 17-18 in July, and because of that, they have to roll over in the budget into this year's into the next year budget, and so we need to appropriate it accordingly. So a typical pie would just include the one large piece for the one revenue distribution. This year we have two. So with that, we have the two revenue distributions of around 11 million. The budget also includes reserves, an additional add to reserves of 150,000, 96,000 in other expenses, about 1.1 million in salaries and benefits, just about $1 million in services and supplies, $1.3 million to channel licensees funding, and that's pretty much the budget. Of course, that's just a quick overview, and we're going to go through these components in more detail. So the first component I want to talk about is administration and regulation, and this is the administration and enforcement arm of the commission. This is basically Karen Liu and her staff and everything that the commission office does for the member agencies. Just generally, we administer the state franchises, no more local franchises, as you all know. We assist consumers in resolving their cable-related complaints and issues. We provide funding and support for the 6 PEG channels that are licensed with other operators. And we collect and distribute franchise fees. And also we collect and distribute PEG fees, as well as running Metro Cable 14, with your local government channel. The administration staff includes one part-time executive director, which happens to be me. 4 full-time positions, including Karen, our ASO 3. We have a ASO 1 that's unfilled. I'm hoping that we're going to get that filled this year. We have a confidential senior office assistant, and we also have a senior office assistant who's a temporary employee at this point in time. Part of this budget, and actually as a later agenda item on today's agenda, is we are recommending a reclassification of the confidential senior office assistant to a confidential senior office specialist, and this is just recognizing the more complex nature of the work as we bring on people to work as our office assistants. Over time, they develop a lot of skills and knowledge, especially with the Cable Commission, all the difficulties of the PEG process, franchise fees, and just the inner workings of the commission. Their job becomes more complex in nature. Also, we did we are working on a classification and comp study, which is not done yet. The classification part of that study is pretty much done, and that job description that came out of that classification study pretty much matches the county's office specialist position. So we feel very strongly about this, and I'm talking a lot about that, though it is an item later on the agenda. It's also important for the budget, so I thought I should share that information now. So with that, as your board is aware, the COLA that's offered to commission staff is the same general COLA that the County of Sacramento offers to its employees. And in this year, that COLA happens to be 3%. So today's budget staff report does include a 3% COLA for staff. Some other highlights, closed captioning, we expect will cost about $110,000. The legal counsel, we don't usually spend this high, but we like to have flexibility to spend that, and that's $200,000. The same with other professional services like the audits and such. We're budgeting $200,000. There's a judgment that went against us for the Comcast security deposit lawsuit that happened several years ago. Even though that's on appeal, the portion of that judgment, we do budget for that so that, we're prepared at the time that we would have to pay that judgment, assuming that that doesn't change with the appeal. County DTEC services and IT hardware are two items that are higher this year. We normally pay county DTEC services, and actually they do a good job for us. There's a lot of technical things that happen with the Cable Commission and our interface with the county IT system. It's invaluable service. But on top of that, we were notified by the county that our computers, both in the admin office and in the Metro Cable office, are not compatible with Windows 10 and other software that, and that they won't be supporting what was on our computers. We were in need of an upgrade anyway. That just, I think, precipitated that update maybe a little bit quicker than normal. So with that, we have room in the budget to pay for the hardware and software related to that upgrade, as well as we've budgeted more for county DTEC and IT services. We don't have the bids, so we don't exactly know how much that amount will be, but I think we feel comfortable with the amount that we're budgeting. Like I said, we normally have an allocation from the county that we have to pay, and this is higher because of this project. With that, we are proposing to put another $150,000 in the reserves. Our current reserve balance is $1.2 million, and the commission approved a policy several years ago that created a target for our reserves, which is $1.5 million, and we are getting closer to that target with this allocation. We'll be at $3.5 million.
Bob,
Yes.
there's a discrepancy between the agenda package and your presentation. The item 5 you have at 82,000 has 99.5 in the agenda item.
Okay.
It's on page 3 at 10 on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Bob, the 82,000 is accurate as present on the PowerPoint because the 17.5 from software was added twice in the staff report, so I apologize for that.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. So we did make an error and added the same amount to two items in the staff report. So I
what's
apologize for
presented?
not pointing that out.
Perfect.
And then the CalPERS reserve that we pay into for other than retirement and post-employment benefits, based on our actuarial studies, we're proposing $90,000 for that. Component 2 is closed captioning. As you are aware, we have been captioning meetings since 2006. We caption close to 90% of our meetings, and the only meetings that we don't caption are the ones that are logistically we're not able to. So with that, in calendar year 17, we had 286 meetings that were captioned, over 651 hours were captioned. Staff is recommending that the closed captioning services agreement be extended for another year. This is the same entity, though it's with a different name, that we've been dealing with since implementation in 2006. And I know we had a meeting with Chair Detrick, and we acknowledged that it's time to RFP those services. So we do plan to, before this time next year, send that out for RFP, and the results will be back at next year's budget meeting.
Thank you.
So component 3 is Metro Cable, and of course Metro Cable is the staff that's responsible for everything that we see on Metro Cable 14. It's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the meetings of the commission. It's 7 member agencies, but also 13 other agencies. In fiscal year 17-18, we recorded 336 meetings for 728 hours. We also do election forums, and we had 7 election forums this year. And I'm very proud of staff. They work with the League of Women Voters, and they put on those election forums. And the most recent ones for the primary were actually quite interesting, if you happen to catch them. Also, Metro Cable staff also provides assistance to the member agencies on all the PEG-related equipment and needs for the different member agencies. Member agencies come forward with their own requests, but there's often things that the member agencies don't know that they need, or don't know that they need something that's compatible with our equipment. And our staff does a really good job of reaching out every year to make sure that the member agency's request also includes the important items that we need, so that we can make sure that those member agency meetings get on television. The Metro Cable staff includes 4 full-time positions: a production director, programming coordinator, a technical coordinator, and a technical assistant. In addition to the full-time staff, we have part-time staff. They're the production assistants that you see at most of the member agency meetings, and they're in the control rooms and doing other things that are necessary to cablecast those meetings. Again, there's a 3% COLA recommended for 18-19, and it's again tied to the county position. Component 4 is community programming, and this is related to the general funding that is provided for the operations base for the 3 channel licensees: Access Sacramento, KVIE, and the Sacramento Education Cable Consortium. And also funding is provided for Capital Public Radio. And I know that we did have some miscommunication with Capital Public Radio this year. I think it had to do with the previous executive director retiring. We didn't get a request from Capital Public Radio, but I didn't want to just pull the funding out. And we hadn't communicated, well, we communicated but hadn't received any response yet. So actually, we discussed this with Chair Detrick, and since our meeting chair, we did reach out to Capital Public Radio. Capital Public Radio has submitted a request, and they are here today, and I believe we'll be addressing the board later.
Yeah, my gut feeling was that they didn't want to leave the money on the table.
Yeah, and I knew from our past interactions with them that it was important to their operation, that it wasn't just money that they were happy about getting and didn't need. And like I said, I didn't want for miscommunication or changing of staff having a big part of their funding just disappear.
Well, thanks for going the extra mile and following up again this week.
Yeah, I appreciate the suggestion too.
And Bob, excuse me, the request that came in yesterday from Capital Public Radio is at the dais for the board members.
Great, thank you. So last December, the commission took up an item which was a COLA policy for the channel licensees, and this relates back to the previous budget meeting, last year's budget meeting, where Access Sacramento brought forward a request, and the request was, in addition to the COLA, they were asking for minimum wage cost and also payroll cost on top of the COLA and the minimum wage cost to be included in their funding request. And with that brought the direction to come back in December with an exploration of ideas, and is there a better way to do this? With that, we brought at least 4 fund options to the board, and without going into the back and forth and the minutia of all the different options, what was settled on in the direction that we got from the board was that for the channel licensees, that we would include the same COLA that staff was getting But we'd also include a COLA to cover the minimum wage costs. And those were the ones related to Access Sacramento, because obviously with different organizations, you're going to get a different number depending on how many minimum wage employees that they had. So we use Access Sacramento as the model, along with associated payroll cost, like Social Security and taxes and workers' comp and other things. And so with that, the COLA policy, we brought examples to the board in December. They approved this policy, and that policy translates to a 4.59% cost of living adjustment for the channel licensees. I will also tell you that later on in the agenda, we have an agenda item to approve that policy. That will be just a formal approval of that policy. So this, what you're seeing in today's budget item is the implementation of the direction that this board adopted in December. So this brings the exhibit that shows the funding base for the channel licensees. And basically this shows the, last year's amount, and then this year's amount with a 4.59% applied. Won't go through the numbers individually, but that shows that the total funding support for channel licensees base is $1.29 million for this year. And that brings to some's favorite part of the discussion, the revenue distribution to the member agencies. And so with the revenue that's coming in, and we run the cable commission, we provide the funding support, and what's left over at the end does get distributed to the member agencies based upon population. And we get the latest State Department of Finance population figures to dole out the revenue distributions. With fiscal year 17-18, we had budgeted $11.818 million, and we actually got $11.34 million in revenue. It's pretty close. So as per past practice, the difference gets added to the budgeted amount, and then that amount is disseminated to the member agencies as their revenue distribution. And like I said, this year in July rather than in June. And this year's budget, which I'll be talking about this a little bit in just a little bit, but the proposed distribution is $11 million for next year. That would be paid in June of 2019. Sorry, I can't count. And obviously, just like this year, if there's any additional revenue, then that would be added to the revenue distribution then. And the next chart just shows the revenue distributions that that each member agency gets. I won't read them out all individually, but like I said, it was based on the Department of Finance populations, and we this chart here shows the percentages that each member agency gets based on population. And fortunately, it does add up to 100%. So. In preparing this budget, we like to look at the trends in the franchise fee revenue that we're getting from the cable video companies. And I know that we've reported out over the last 2 years that we've seen a significant decline in the revenue coming from AT&T. That's basically due to AT&T seems to be abandoning their UVerse platform, which is their in the ground, through the right-of-way way of providing service, and that they are more promoting their DirecTV, which is a satellite-based slash over-the-top internet product, which does not require the payment of franchise fees. So with that, we've seen a significant decline of more than 20% a year over the last couple of years from AT&T. Fortunately, Comcast revenues have still been increasing. Consolidated revenues, they did kind of flatten out this year, but they had increased previously as well. So with that, you can. I always like to show just the long-term trend in franchise fee revenue, with the peak being a couple years ago at $14.33 million. This year, our actual revenue was $13.91 million, and I do like to be a little bit conservative in budgeting. But not too conservative. This board, over on many occasions, expressed not being too conservative because this gets into the member agency budgets, and should there be revenue shocks throughout the year, we have time to plan for and provide for that. So anyway, with that, I believe that the franchise fee revenue that we've projected for 18-19 is 13.75 million, which is certainly lower than what we got this year. But not knowing what the trends are showing, it's hard to say, how that will come out. And this next chart just shows the same information and also does show the 13.75 million that we budgeted for this year, which is the same that we budgeted for last year. And it does show you percent-wise that revenue is down 2.5% this year from the previous fiscal year. So that concludes the general fund portion of this, and then we transition to Fund 94B, which is the PEG fee fund. And with that, we have another pie chart for you that shows you how that budget works. The total expenditures proposed in the budget are $14.4 million. That is more than we get in PEG fees. We get about, well, it'll be shown later, but somewhere over $2.3 million in PEG fee every year. We've had a lot of money that has rolled into this year. You could see that large piece of the pie representing the best net for $1.2 million. I'll be explaining that a little bit later, but basically due to the commission, Sacramento Education Consortium, and Comcast not achieving an agreement on the completion of BestNet, this money hasn't been spent yet and has rolled over into this year's budget. Other aspects of the budget, channel licensees one-time equipment request of $1.3 million. Channel license facility and equipment base. We talked about base in the general fund. Some of those many years ago, we moved a lot of that base over to the PEG fund when there were budget issues. A lot of that money has moved back to the general fund, but some of the base is still in the PEG fund for the just ongoing equipment needs of some of the channel licensees, and so that's what's called the base in the PEG fund. Metro Cable has $118,000 in equipment. We are proposing another $150,000 into the reserve, contingency of $109,000, and then almost $1.3 million in member agency requests, the control rooms and member agency equipment needs related to PEG for the 7 member agencies. And this chart here shows, I didn't graph the PEG funds because it almost tracks exactly to franchise fees, so you'd be seeing the same graph. But this shows we are budgeting $2.75 million in the PEG fund as revenue coming in, and that's the same as last year. Again, we have 2.89% decrease in PEG revenues from the previous year. So Exhibit 3, which is on your dais, it's an exhibit that basically includes all the requests of the member agencies, of Metro Cable, and of the channel licensees for equipment this year from the PEG fund. Now, I'm not going to go through it individually because most of it is equipment related to control rooms, chambers, anything that's related to PEG. It's a lot of equipment. I do have one request that I'm going to point out to you that's unique this year. But for most of this, it's business as usual. It's certainly a lot of money. We have significant requests. We have almost $1.3 million in member agency requests. Channel licensees request of $2.7 million, and then Metro Cable request of $118,000. So that makes up most of what you see detailed in Exhibit 3 on the dais. Now, I did say we had one significant request this year, and this is related to BestNet. The title of the slide is BestNet/E-rate, and as this board knows, and I think as I just briefly explained, we have money that's rolling over into this year's budget because no accord has been reached between Comcast, the Cable Commission, and SECC. So with that, we are, SCCC in their request this year has requested that $1.25 million in previously allocated funds for BestNet completion be spent in this following manner. $254,000 to close out 9 BestNet sites, $11,000 to pay for BestNet project management related to those sites, $685,000 as a match for E-rate for schools, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, so just hold on any questions. And then $301,000 that wouldn't be spent on the E-rate for this year, but would roll over into next year, assuming this year's budget is approved as requested. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. So I apparently am missing a slide, which I said was the next slide. And this has to do with SEC's request for E-rate. E-rate is it's been around for a while. It's a federally approved program that allocates money to schools for dark fiber, for cable, for cable in the schools services and internet. With that, we've had BestNet. We've liked the BestNet process over the past many years, which this commission has funded significantly. But with the closing out of BestNet and the issues we've been experiencing, SCCC in their request this year has requested that the bulk of the funds that are rolling into this year's budget be used for E-rate. Now, there are 3 schools that have 3 school districts that have submitted requests for proposals for E-rate services. Liz Rhodes, I'm sure in her comments, can update you on the status of those RFPs. But with that, rather than completing the remaining BestNet sites, SCCC is proposing that we close out BestNet with those 9 remaining sites, and that the remainder of this money be used so that the schools can RFP for E-rate services and provide the internet and cable in the school in that manner. And I apologize for the slide that seemed to have disappeared. So with that, that's pretty much the end of my budget presentation. Obviously, me or staff can answer any questions that you may have. And with that, I recommend that you approve the budget resolutions, and all the resolutions and attachments that are included in the budget packet before you today. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks, Bob. We'll open public comment. We have no one signed up to speak. Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to speak on this? Seeing no one run into the podium, we'll close public comment and go to board deliberation and or direction. Any comments from any of the commissioners? Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the fiscal year 2018-19 General Fund 904A and PEG Fee Fund 904B proposed budgets to include the following resolution, exhibits, agreements included in the budget staff report?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Go ahead and vote on your screen.
We're hoping it works this year.
Well, it looks like a couple of people didn't come through, huh?
Looks like
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's right.
Somebody said come through Howard.
No.
it's not showing yes.
That's right.
Matt's here.
Oh,
Matthew's
yeah,
here.
of course. Yeah. Well, that would make sense. Thanks, Jeff, for we tested the system before the meeting so that we didn't have the same issues that we had last year, and thanks for staff. It seems to have worked.
Okay. Renee, could you read item number 3, please?
Yes. Your next item is your resolution number 2018-007, approving the revised cost of living adjustment policy for channel licensees.
Good afternoon again. And I won't belabor this because we just talked about this, and we certainly talked about this in detail last December. But this basically is just the formal written policy related to the COLA policy that we were directed to implement that was included in today's budget, and this just puts it down in the words of a resolution. So with that, unless you want any further explanation on it, I recommend that you adopt the resolution approving the revised cost of living adjustment policy for channel licensees.
Okay, we'll open public comment. We have no one signed up to speak on this. And we'll go to board deliberation or direction. Any deliberation? Can I have a motion to adopt a resolution number 2018007, approving the revised cost of living adjustment, also known as COLA, policy for channel licensees?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote on your screen.
Unanimous vote with those present.
There it is.
And Matt, for
Passes.
some reason, yours isn't showing up. I don't know why.
Who's this not showing up?
Mine is, it's Brian
Oh,
or Hedges. I'm Matt Reed. It's
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shown up.
Too bad. Sorry about that. Okay, so moved. Renee, can you do the next item, please?
Your next item is resolution number 2018-008, approving the Eighth Amendment to the license and operations agreements pertaining to the use of community programming channels.
again, this is a budget-related item, but in order to implement some of the actions that your board just approved, it's necessary to implement these eight agreements, and these are amendments to the license and operation agreements with the community programming channels and the channel licensees. With that, I recommend that you adopt the resolution approving the Eighth Amendment.
Okay, we'll open public comment. No one signed up to speak. We'll close. Board deliberation and direction.
No, moved.
So moved. Second? We have a motion and a second. Please vote on your screen.
Motion passes.
Perfect. Next item, Renee?
Your next item is a resolution number 2018-009, reclassifying the senior office assistant confidential position to a senior office specialist confidential position.
Okay, so this item, again, I've explained it during the budget, so I won't go through the details and explain it again. But we are recommending that the board reclassify the senior office assistant confidential position to a senior office specialist, confidential position, and adopt today's resolution.
Okay, thank you, Bob. We'll open public comment, and we have one speaker signed up. Ron Herman.
Sorry, for what?
So it's on item 5, is that what you want to speak on, Ron?
Oh, I'm sorry, that should have been item 15.
15, okay. Renee, you were right. Okay, so we have no one signed up to speak. We'll close public comment. We'll go to board deliberation and direction. Any deliberation?
Just one quick question. Now, this is consistent. This change is consistent with the county's overall employee packages for the same type of work and duties?
Yes, the position description is actually, we developed it based on our classification study. We recently reviewed it, and it compares very closely to the county position.
Just for the record, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments, questions? Motion? I have a motion, second? We have a motion and a second.
I'm
Please vote
sorry,
on
Lisa,
screen.
was that you? Thank you.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, next item, Renee.
Your next item is a resolution number 2018-1010, approving the pro forma cable casting services agreement.
Okay. This is something that staff has been actually wanting to address, and so I'm glad that we're able to bring it to the board today. So currently, member agency meetings and also meetings held in either this board chambers or other member agencies are cablecast, and there's no charge to the entities. And I believe this is the practice that has been with the Cable Commission, well before I became executive director. But there has been a longstanding practice that when we go out and film a meeting at another location, which has travel issues and setting up, and in the case of regional transit, bringing the van, we've charged the marginal cost to those entities. And it's actually this is kind of a legacy thing. It goes back, like I said, before I was executive director. But with two of these entities, there's no agreement. We perform those services. We have billed them. It's actually, the billing is a very complicated process, and that's actually one of the reasons why we actually want to simplify that process. But with that, we have an agreement with SMUD, but we do not have an agreement with two of the entities. Many years ago, or a couple of years ago, when the California Corrections asked us to start cablecasting their meetings, which actually happened in this board chambers, there was no cost to that, but we decided at that time that it would be a good idea to have an agreement, an MOU, for those services. So we implemented that, which is a template for any other entity like that coming forward. But what we didn't have was a template for other agencies that aren't member agencies, that their meetings are in outside locations. So with that, we felt that we should prepare a pro forma an agreement that basically, if we get a new request to cablecast somebody's meetings, that we have an agreement that we can use. In addition, we want to rectify the long practice of not having agreements with some of the entities that we're already performing services for, and we want to make that right. So today we have this pro forma agreement before you. We also wanted to simplify how we charge. Again, the past practice was the marginal cost, but what happens is the tracking, the billing, the process. What we're not, and we're also not charging for the administrative cost for that. We felt there was maybe an easier way to do this. In looking at what it takes to put these meetings on, in reviewing some of the past charges that have gone to the three entities that we're charging for, we came up with a cost of $200 a meeting. That pretty much covers the cost of the production assistants that are needed to drive to the meeting, be in the control room, cablecast the meeting, return home, and upload and get those meetings on Metro Cable. Also, we have a van. The van is still a great asset for us. We use it less since Galt developed their own control room. So the only meeting that we actually use the van for on an ongoing basis is regional transit. We didn't think that it would be fair for regional transit to pay for the entire cost of the van, but the county charges about $800 a month for us to have that van. I mean, in addition, so with that, we felt that regional transit or any entity in the future that relied on the van for use to pay a $200 charge to pay a portion of the cost. It costs the commission for that van. So with that, one other thing I will point out, we did have another error. There was an error in this staff report. We included schools as part of one of the meetings that we would use this pro forma agreement for, but actually the schools record their own meetings and they send that to us, and there's just very nominal cost to the schools for that, so they would not be subject to this pro forma agreement. So with that, I recommend that you approve today's resolution approving this pro forma agreement for cablecasting services.
Bob, I got a question on when was that $200 set? Was that back in 1990 when this original agreement?
Well, the $200, we just came up with it, and really we reviewed, not only did we review the charges that have went to these entities for the marginal costs, for mainly the costs of the PAs to either go from their home or go from the Cable Commission office, go to the location, set up for the location, film the location, return, upload the meetings and such. We costed that out, and obviously some meetings will go long, and that doesn't capture a meeting going long. But it seemed like that the average was, close to $200. So
And that's just the straight labor costs. There's no indirects or overheads added on there.
there are no indirects or overheads. No, sir.
That seems too inexpensive to me.
Sure.
Seems like we should have, usually indirects and overheads, I don't know what the cable commissions, but it's very common to be 100% markup on the base price for all the indirects and overheads.
Sure, and I would agree. As a business, that would certainly be definitely a good practice. The Cable Commission, it's not a business. We're providing a service. We actually provide many of our services for free. The member agencies pay for these services so that we have government meetings on the air on Channel 14, and actually through other mediums as well. So with that, we don't even charge other entities that their meetings happen to be in the board chambers, or these meetings happen to be, most of them are in the board chambers. There have been other cases where they've been at the city council. So with that, there's always been this practice to charge for this marginal cost, and this pro forma agreement is bringing that forward. And I agree, it's a low amount. It's not a big amount. But I also think that that's in keeping with with our past practice and our mission of getting these meetings to the people. We don't want to make the cost too high for that.
Okay. Any other thoughts from the other commissioners on that?
No. I agree with Bob on that one. This commission's not a business. So I'm not in disagreement with the $200.
Okay.
Yeah, on all of these, all of the people that are the organizations that we film or broadcast are public agencies. They're not making money either, so it's not as though they're using our facilities for their own money-making purposes.
Yeah, I'm just used to even the quasi-private sectors, quasi-government sectors usually have a fee built in for you capture the indirects and overheads, but it's not a sword I'm willing to die on for such a small amount anyway. But anyway, I just thought I'd kind of bring it up as at least for discussion. And so open public comment. No one signed up to speak. We'll close public comment. Is there any other deliberation on this? Can I have a motion to approve resolution number 2018010, approving the pro forma cable cast agreement?
So moved.
Motion second? A motion and a second. Please vote on your screen. And Renee, the answer is?
Unanimous vote. It passes.
Perfect. Thank you. Read the next item, Renee.
Good. Item number 7 is your calendar year 2018 investment policy for the pooled investment fund.
This is another annual action. We usually have this at our budget meeting. Because we invest our funds with the County of Sacramento, they require us to approve this policy every year. So with that, I recommend that you receive and file the Sacramento County calendar 2018 investment policy for pooled investment fund.
Okay, I'll open public comment. No one signed up to speak. We'll close it. Board deliberation. I see none. So this is a receive and file item. Next item, please.
Your next item is review of procurement card usage, October 1st, 2015 to January 31st, 2018, resolution number 2018-011, adopting the 2018 employee recognition policy.
Okay, this is this item. The title is interesting because this is a funny title for a report, but this is basically an audit. This is an audit of the credit cards that the Commission uses, and because we use the credit card, we participate in the County of Sacramento's credit card program. We're subject to audit, and they audit us frequently. They did it within the past couple of years, and this is another audit. It covers the period of October 2015 to January 2018. The report actually has two parts to it. The first part is a review of previous findings and how we're doing, and I'm pleased to say we had 3 findings on our previous audit. They basically have concurred that we've implemented all the recommendations from the previous audit. So that's nice that there's not something we did wrong back then and are still doing it. So with that, that brings the new period and the findings associated with that. And those findings, there are 2 of them. The first finding is has to do really with the small size of our commission. So we have 2 card holders, Kristen Riggs, the production director, and Karen Liu, the ASO3. With that, we don't have a lot of layers of staff. So I review all procurement card statements. I sign for those procurement card statements. Karen or one of her staff would basically sign the claims that pay U.S. Bank for the credit cards, for the P cards. Well, what the audit finding is saying is that as a card holder, the card holder shouldn't sign the claim that goes to U.S. Bank. So with that, we're implementing a change, and now I will, in addition to everywhere else I sign and review for the P cards, I'm also going to sign those claims that go to U.S. Bank. So with that, that should rectify that finding.
Do you have a P card, Bob?
I do not have a P card. I have a credit card, but it's for my home. You don't want to see those statements.
I was just checking to see who's the check and balance on your card.
That would be my spouse.
Got it.
So there was another finding. We have a employee recognition policy. It's actually quite old. It's from 2001, but we don't overdo it. But we have an event or 2 every year, and we pay for those employee recognition events with the P card. This year, staff went to an escape room. It was a good team building and recognition event. It was quite a fun event, actually. But with that, that was paid for on the P card. The idea of this came to me at a staff meeting, and I approved it before the event happened. But I actually didn't. I should have followed up with the email, and I didn't. So there wasn't written approval. Our policy didn't require written approval, but the P card audit basically saying that for a payment like that, there really should be written approval. So with that, I agree with the finding. I think it makes sense. As a good practice, I think going forward, I'd do that anyway. But also, too, we have brought forward an update to our 2001 recognition policy, and we've updated that policy basically to make certain that any approval based on the recognition policy is in writing before any use of any expense is incurred. And also with that, we also reviewed the latest recommendations of the County of Sacramento for policies related to their P card, and then we've incorporated that into this policy as well. So with that, I recommend that you receive and file I called it an audit, the report on the review of the participation in the county P card program, and also adopt the 2018 employee recognition policy.
So I'll open public comment. No one signed up to speak. We'll close public comment and go to board deliberation and direction. Any comments, questions?
I would just like it noted that I did read this, and I agree that I want on record it has been read. I agree with your finding and your thing, and this is about as much fun reading this as watching water evaporate. So it had to be done.
Yeah, from an audit point of view, I sit on the audit committee for the city of Elk Grove, and these are little, it's dotting the I, crossing the T, but I think it's important for have a paper trail, so.
Sure. And as the executive director, I'm glad it was boring. Right.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, so we'll,
My only comment is that I love the escape room. I've done it a few times.
It was a good event, and it was a really good team building event.
Yeah.
And both teams got out in time
It's great.
with like a minute left.
Bob, if I can quickly.
what's it?
I was just going to ask, you had mentioned the compensating controls under the first new finding, and that I believe that you said that your kind of way to address that is by having you sign off an additional layer. It recommends, compensating controls need to be put in place, and you identified your ongoing sign off on those reports and expenditures being that compensating control. Is that correct?
Yes. So the one change is, so the P card holders use the P card. They have expenses. They get a statement, but I get a statement too for both P cards. I review every statement. I actually look at every item. Cable commission related items. There's no alcohol or gifts or things that just, why is that here? And of course my staff wouldn't do that, and I've never even had an issue. So with that, I review that and I sign those statements every month, and we keep those on file. Staff prepares a log of claims, other claims too, but this claim also appears on a log of claims, and so I see every claim that goes out from the Cable Commission, and I review that on a monthly basis, and I sign for that, and that's on there. But in addition to that, I was not signing the claim that went to U.S. Bank. That claim was signed by Karen, and the auditor's point was, well, she's a card holder, she shouldn't be signing that claim. I felt there was enough controls because I was reviewing it on multiple occasions. I was at the front end, I was reviewing it, and I was reviewing it at the back end, and it always matched. But I understand. In a large organization, you probably would want different people with these positions. I think I assigned 3 or 4 times on this. And, maybe it looks like a little bit of overkill, but I'd rather have overkill than, P-card abuse. Yeah. And so with this recommended change, rather than Karen signing that claim that goes to U.S. Bank, I will be signing those claims.
Thank you.
And all other times I sign are still there. So that means I signed 3 or 4 times.
More layers.
I'm not sure which, but one of those 2 numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Any more comments or questions? Okay, so the board will receive and file the review of the participation in the County of Sacramento's procurement card program for the period of October 1st, 2015 to January 31st, 2018. And do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2018001, adopting the 2018 employee recognition policy?
I would move.
You have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote on the screen.
Motion passes.
Very good. Item 9 was pulled, so we'll go to item 10. And Renee, if you could read that, please.
Your item number 10 is resolution number 2018-012, authorizing the issuance of a subpoena relating to a review of franchise and PEG fees paid by Comcast in calendar year 2017.
Okay, so we do these cable company audits, and now more often than not, we're required to have a subpoena in order to get records from these cable companies. Rather than waiting for them to say no, get a subpoena, we get a subpoena in advance. And so we have several cable company audits that will be coming forward, and this subpoena is for the audit of Comcast for calendar year 2017. With that, I recommend that you approve the resolution authorizing the issuance of a subpoena.
Okay, we'll open public comment. No one signed up to speak, so we'll close public comment and go to board deliberation and direction. Any comments or questions? See no comments or questions. So do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2018012, authorizing the issuance of a subpoena related to a review of franchise and PEG fee paid by Comcast in calendar year 2017?
I move approval.
We have motion, second? We have motion and a second. Please vote on screen.
Chair Detrick, ex officio gate,
Hold
we
on.
cannot make
You're
this.
I'll second.
You're ex officio, so you can't second.
I'll second.
sorry.
Okay, I didn't hear, what was the issue?
An ex
I'm an ex
officio.
officio. Can't second.
Ah, okay.
Can't vote.
So we have a motion and a second, and everybody vote?
I'm missing someone who didn't vote. I'm going to clear it and do it again. Okay. There we go.
Vote again, please.
So close.
There we go. Motion passes.
Perfect. Thank you. Next item.
Your next item is your calendar year 2017 surplus property list.
Okay, every year, we ask you to receive and file the list of property that is surplus. With that, I recommend that you receive and file. I also actually want to point out that this used to be something that gave us a lot of headaches. It was always an audit finding, and we didn't do the best job of accounting for our equipment and surplusing it. We have some staff that has really improved that process. Mary Anceletto, who's sitting over there, and Kevin Benyon, who's in the back, probably have had the most effect on our being able to do a better job of this. And I'm crossing my fingers because we're doing an audit right now. So I'm projecting that won't be a finding this year. If it is, I'll explain it. But
Okay. So we'll open public comment. No one signed up to speak. Close public comment. And any council deliberation? Comments, questions? Hearing none, this is a receive and file. And we'll move on to the next item, Renee.
Your next item is a Conflict of Interest Code, Appendix A, list of designated positions for calendar year 2018.
okay. A couple of years ago, the board approved a significantly revised conflict of interest code that we worked on through the County of Sacramento. And then just recently, and at this meeting, we're just asking you to make minor changes reflecting changes to board members and such. There's no significant changes to the code here. So with that, I recommend that you approve the revised list of designated positions for calendar year 2018 related to the conflict of interest code.
Okay, so I'll open public comment. No one signed up to speak. We'll close public comment. Board deliberation and direction. Any comments, questions, concerns? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the revised list of designated positions for calendar year 2018 identified on Appendix A?
So moved.
A motion and a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Please vote on screen when it comes up. There it is.
There.
Don't get a vote.
Sorry.
That's okay. Motion passes.
Fantastic. Okay, next item, please.
Your next item is item 13, is your chair and vice chair election.
So we basically have included in here the history of the chair and the vice chair. Typically, I defer this item to the chair to figure out how the board would like to elect their chair and vice chair for the upcoming year.
Okay, so why don't we take the vice chair first? Who, do we have a nomination from the board for vice chair? I think in the past, there's been default to the, to the standing folks, but if they're,
he's not here.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a nomination for Matt.
I'll second.
Just to clarify, he is the current vice chair, so.
He is correct.
And he's absent.
You can't,
He just had a second child.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think you can second, correct?
I can't second.
Yeah.
Howard did.
Oh, Howard did. Oh, I must have saw your hand coming up.
Very similar, and we look alike.
Yeah, brother from another mother, I get it.
When I look over,
Okay, so we have a motion for Matt Hedges to return as the vice chair and a second. All those in favor, please vote on the screen.
Motion passes.
So
Matt
we either
Hedges.
can send congratulations or condolences to Matt. Okay, so now we go to the chair. Do we ha- What's that?
Not a good time.
Al
No.
should do it.
You decline?
I would be, should be, if I do it, should be after next year, after January. But I will nominate the current chair to continue.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll
on that?
second.
We have a motion and second for the current chair. You guys put me in an awkward position here. All those in favor, vote on screen.
And motion passes.
Okay, it looks like we got a repeat. I think I got to catch up to Ted. He had a three-peat, I think. Oh, God, he had a four.
I run for election.
4 or
in November,
5.
So it would,
Okay.
yeah.
So we got everything we need on that one. Next item, please.
Your next item is your general administration report.
Okay, I'll go through, there's 4 items on the agenda for the administration report, so I'll go through them in order, I guess. First, the quarterly meetings for the remainder of calendar year 2018. And there are 2. One scheduled for October 4th, 2018, and one scheduled for December 6th, 2018. And as we've gone, if there's no need for the meeting, we will cancel and give you plenty of notice.
Okay, perfect.
The final budget was October 4th, so I'm pretty certain that one won't be canceled.
Sounds good. So there's no other
So-
questions on the board on that?
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll move on. Before we move on, I should have.
Oh, no, I still have more items. I
Oh, I thought,
No, excuse me. That was just item 1,
okay.
so
Oh, I'm sorry. Got one. All right.
it's okay.
That's item 1.
I probably paused too much, so that made it seem like I was done. I do have delegated authority to enter into agreements, but up to $50,000. But with that delegated authority, I'm to report to the chair when I enter into such agreements, and also to report them out at the next board meetings. So with that, I actually have item 2 and 4 are related to such agreements. So first of all, OSPA and Skolko, who perform cable company audits, I entered into basically 3 letters of understanding with them. One for the review of franchise and PEG fees for AT&T for calendar years 2016, 2018. And that is for, that agreement is in the amount of $10,500. One for the review of the same for Comcast for calendar year 2017, and the budget for that is $14,000. And one for the review of franchise and PEG fees paid by Consolidated Communication, and that one is $16,000. Is that correct, Karen?
I don't have that information with me, I'm sorry.
Okay, I believe that's correct.
I believe it's 12, though, 12,000.
Okay, well, I apologize for being confused about the amount, but I will double check that after the meeting. If you'd like, I can email it out.
Still under your 50,000, right?
Yes.
It is. Mhm.
I just have 2 notes that happen to have different numbers, so. So with that, I'll go to item number 3. It's the status of the classification and compensation study. And we talked about that already. The classification part of that has pretty much been completed. The compensation part, we ran into some difficulties finding good comps. I actually had expected that that could be the case, so we tried to fend that off from the beginning. But we have many unique positions that there aren't a lot of position-like positions around, and that some of them maybe they're close but not quite right. So basically, the study needs a little bit more work. Because of this pending meeting and because of some other things that we wanted to address, we put that part of it on hold, but we hope to pick that up shortly after this meeting anyway. So I'll be updating your board on that in the future. And then finally, we entered into an agreement, with HR to Go. So sometimes it's hard being a small organization. We have great staff, but we have little staff, and sometimes maybe I seem to complain about that. It's not a complaint, but it's just a reality. Things like the audit, where we don't have all the layers and such. So anyway, there are some things, so they get more and more complicated, and our staff basically works as HR staff. We use Harriet's firm as our legal counsel for HR issues, and the County of Sacramento is always willing to help out and give us HR advice. But the HR work, the reviewing policies and procedures and updating them, being up to date on all the changes required for small organizations, the hiring packets and hiring screening and such. There are many, many things that we do that are administratively cumbersome. So actually, I have to thank Gary Martin. We heard about Access Sacramento uses this firm, HR2Go, to provide their human resources services. And so we actually looked into that. We also actually checked with some other organizations like the Fair Oaks Park and Recreation District and an irrigation district up in Placer County. Got really good reviews. And so we thought that this was a really good thing for our commission. And I think it's going to be the thing that's going to take a lot of the things that take so much of Karen and her staff's time and move them on to this consultant firm. That help will allow us to use our staff to maximize the items that are more important to the commission, and also it's going to, I think, allow us to get there's some long-standing things like updating policies and procedures, updating the injury and illness prevention program. There are things that we've wanted to attack, and I'll be honest, we haven't been able to get them done, and I'm hoping that this is the thing that's going to help us get that done. So I wanted to report to you that I've entered into that contract. The agreement provides for the services that I've just discussed. The monthly cost of that agreement is $1,250 per month, so it's really small for the services that we get. We'll review it after a year of doing it, and if it's not really working out like we think it's going to work out, we'll just not renew it. But there's also a payroll component to that at $425 per month. We're actually finding, so actually we would actually like to use them to help us do payroll too. We're finding that there's some complications to them being able to do our payroll. So actually, unless we're able to work out those complications, we will not implement that part of the agreement. So with that, I just wanted to report out to you, like I reported to the chair, that I entered into that agreement as well. And with that, that's item number 4, and that does conclude the 4 items that I have on the staff status portion of the agenda.
Thank you for keeping me on track, Bob. So this is a receive and file only, so we'll go on to the next item.
Your next item is item number 15, channel licensee reports.
Well, I think this is a little bit different than usual. For some reason, there's a combination of numbers that should go with letters. I'm just going to go the way the stack's put together here, and the first person I have is Ron. You're up.
Thank you. I'm Ron Herman with the Sacramento Faith TV. I'm the program director. It's good to see you all again, once again, after all these years. Just a little general information I wanted to give. The Cable Commission, the Sacramento Faith TV has been licensed to the Interfaith Council of Greater Sacramento. John Fish has been our president for the last 10 years. They oversee the license and oversee us. And we just had a change. John has just retired this year. And I have with me today, if I can direct to Edwin Dungu. If you'd stand up, please. This is our new president. So I'd like you to acknowledge him. Him and his board will be overseeing Sac Faith TV. Karen Lou, if you don't already have the information, I'll pass on his information and his email addresses and so forth. Sacramento Faith TV has been here for almost 25 years. I'm celebrating my 10th year as a program coordinator, and although we don't receive financial support from you, just having your support and allowing us to be part of the PEG program is great for the Sacramento area and letting us bring faith in what Sacramento Faith TV broadcasts to our community. Faith community is alive and well in Sacramento. Sacramento Faith TV, although we haven't been financially supported by the commission, we've had our ups and downs. In 2013, we were negative $20,000 in the red. And for a couple of years there, I thought I was going to be looking to our other distinguished programmers here for a job. But this year, we're going to have a $20,000 plus budget. And we're in the black finally, looking good. We've got $10,000 in a marketing budget. You'll see about 15 weeks of Sacramento Faith TV billboards on Highway 50, Highway 80, 99, and I-5 from now to the end of the year, promoting our station. We've taken on a different path the last couple of years. We've kind of taken on the Walmart kind of model where you have the big box store and the smaller stores come around it, and it creates some synergy there. So what we've done is we bring in the larger ministries like Joel Osteen, Billy Graham. You've heard of these big international ministries within our country. We brought those on board, and what it has done is attracted our local faith groups to come on board with us and kind of fill in around there and increase our programming and increase our viewership. I just want to leave you an update of what's going on with us. I've got a little 60-second commercial here to show you the new Sac Faith TV and what we're bringing to our community. Do you have any questions? Well, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you.
I believe and declare God is going to lead you down the best path for your life.
If you take good seed and you put it in good soil, you will see a harvest.
We're taking the mission to places and people who need it the most, providing fresh water, education, and sanctuaries of hope.
It's just incredibly beautiful to see us come to the point where we're washing each other's feet. We're praying with each other, all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities.
You get fresh air, you get sunshine, you get the exercise, the water, the nutrition if you're eating out of the garden.
Hi, I'm Joel Osteen. You can join me right here each week on Sac Faith TV.
Very good. Okay, next speaker is Shirley Tully. Karen, is this going to foul them up in the back if it's out of order?
I'm sorry, what?
Is this going to foul them up in the
No,
back if these
no,
are out of
no.
order? Okay, sorry.
Thank you. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Shirley Tully with Capital Public Radio. I know you're used to seeing Arla Gibson. She retired, and judging from Facebook, she's very happy. But the communication between us may not have been the best, so I wanted to give a special thanks to Bob Davison and Karen Liu for making sure that our submission made it intact. I also did a little research, and I really want to thank the Commission for your annual support going back to 1989. That is staggering. We've grown leaps and bounds since then. We've expanded our news and music coverage, we've grown our staff, and we've adapted to the changing media landscape. And it appears to be paying off. People are consuming public radio at a historically high rate. We have over 500,000 weekly listeners online and on air. So the funding request that we put in, we wanted to thank you profusely for that. And it's to cover our 24-hour music programming, online and on air, our award-winning locally produced daily news reports during Morning Edition and All Things Considered, The View from Here, which is our documentary unit in its 11th year of exploring in-depth local issues, and our locally produced daily public affairs program, Insight, with Beth Ruyak. So finally, the Capitol Bureau and our Capitol Public Radio Network, which goes out to 50 stations in California, Nevada, and Oregon. So on behalf of all of us at Cap Radio, we just want to thank you. We're honored to have earned your support over all these years. And thanks once again to Bob and Karen.
Well, welcome and congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next is Liz Rhodes.
Good afternoon. I'm Liz Rhodes with Sacramento Educational Cable Consortium. First of all, thank you for what you've done for BestNet. And thank you to Bob and to Harriet. It was so sad we were stalled, and there was just nothing we could do. And I want you to understand that because we couldn't finish those schools with Comcast, and no matter what we seemed to do to try to move that forward, we couldn't. We came up with this E-rate plan. And what that gives our schools, and what I really want you to understand, is that the 40-some schools that were not connected because of issues with, the agreement, will now be connected with similar capacity. Actually, it's better capacity than what they had with Comcast. It will be connected to BestNet. BestNet will continue to be the managed network that it has been. Meaning that we have a great deal of flexibility. We have renewal agreements within the E-rate, and it's cheaper than had we done it, just building at cost with Comcast. The other win to this is that Comcast has the ability to apply for to actually do the work. And in this case, we did invite Comcast to respond to the RFPs. They did not respond. But in this next set, all schools, remaining schools that are out there, with the exception of a handful because of their geographic location, will be connected within the next year and a half to BestNet, and it will be done. So thank you. It is tremendous. It's exciting. And it's great to be able to resolve it in a manner that really is win-win. It's win for this community, it's win for Comcast, and it's a huge win for you. And without you, it never would have happened. So thank you. That's really, really important.
I think the biggest win is the kids.
Oh, big time. Absolutely. Yeah. And what's happening in our schools because of BestNet is absolutely tremendous. So the other thing that I wanted to share with you, I have a little video, just a little minute and a half, kind of a recap of our annual SEVA award night. We had standing room only, over 1,100 people. Some of you were there. It just goes to show you, again, what you do for the students in our schools by giving us the SEVA money to create the SEVA labs. We gave you a list in our thing. There's 40-some SEVA labs out there. You funded, again, money for next year. We already have 12 schools in the pipeline and for the first round. And it's a matching kind of thing where your money, your contribution supports about a third of the cost. So we have the buy-in from the schools. They pick up about a third, and the district picks up another third. So I just wanted you to kind of take a look at some of the things that were done this year and the response that the students have, which is tremendous. So if we could roll that tape or play or push the button, whatever it is you do nowadays. Maybe.
Y'all ready? Here we go. Follow me.
So let's jump in. Our video is a book trailer, How to Power Hit a Softball.
This new class called Fire Tech.
This alien who wants to be a comedian.
How to make Hmong pepper sauce.
Thanksgiving turkey.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
I think video is an amazing thing because you can use it to teach people things. You can use it to make people laugh.
You can put anything, like you could really tell your story with it.
You can express the unexplainable. Every person, they have certain ideas that they can't quite articulate. But I feel like with film, you can kind of transcend the language barrier and show them exactly how you feel.
This experience has been amazing. I have like a wonderful class. It's just glad to get my video out there. Because it is educational, getting students to teamwork and bond, and doing something you love with others is a transcendent experience.
To all of the students that feel like they can't do it, you can. You just need to work your hardest. Welcome to the C-Bus.
Welcome to the C-Bus.
Amazing students that have vision that is incredible, and it's because of what you do that they have the ability to come and share that and share their vision with our community. So thank you.
Yeah, Liz, we may give you the support, but you do all the heavy lifting. And, you know, for those of you who haven't been to the SEVA Awards, it's a phenomenal event. Liz has been gracious enough to invite me to be one of the presenters, and she is under the radar. She doesn't even want any recognition at this event for this massive event that she puts on. And one of the most gratifying things that I had happen recently related to that, we have a youth commissioner on the Elk Grove City Youth Commission, and he was videoing at one of the meetings where some are at City Hall, and he came up to me, he goes, I don't know if you remember me, he goes, but he was one of the ones who filmed the disabled water skiers that won the national recognition and was one of the recipients of a SEVA award. And that shows how, you know, here this was probably about 4 years ago, and he still, this is one of his highlights and wants to go into videography in high school. So thank you for what you do to, in so many ways, to support the young men and women of our region.
Well, you are too kind, and thank you. But it really is a collaboration of some fantastic educators and you, your staff, and I think we're so fortunate in Sacramento because we have all of these resources that are made available through this cable commission, our channels, the funding, and then just the interest that you show, the interest because you're there. Sarah, you were there this year.
I was going to echo that.
Oh, phenomenal, right?
It's amazing, and I will be back.
Good. So thank you.
Thank you.
You got to be nice so you get an invite.
Oh, that's true. I'm just going to show up.
Okay. Next speaker, Steve Beck.
You know, I'd like to defer to Gary Martin right now, though, since he represents all of Sacramento Access.
So are you going to do all the Sacramento Access, Gary? There's about 5 of them in here.
We would like to in order, if we could.
Well, they're out of order. I don't know which order you want them in.
We'll start with Gary, and he'll tell who's going to go next.
We can do that.
I don't want to have you set your agenda, but if it was the order of Gary Martin, followed by Board Chair Don Henkel, and then Board Member Mark Freeman.
Okay, we got, wait a minute, we got Gary, and then who?
And then Don.
Don.
And then Mark.
And Mark.
Then Bob and Steve.
And then Bob.
Oh, Steve.
Sorry, David, I should let you go first.
Yeah.
Steve and Bob.
There we go. Thank you for your patience
Steve
on
and
that.
Bob?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you for the reorganization of the group. On behalf of Access Sacramento and the Board of Directors, we want to thank the Cable Commission for refunding, reauthorizing another year of operations. Smooth sailing this year and working with the Cable Commission and with the COLA policy and the support of those pieces. It certainly helps us to understand where we're going and what sort of funding we can count on. So thank you for all of that. Free speech and the community voice are, of course, the types of programs that we provide in support of education and diversity, news and information. Our membership at Access Sacramento is at its highest level of all time. KUBU, our radio station, is the biggest growth area of cablecast radio, and 96.5 KUBU, the only station where you can be you on the radio, is broadcasting this meeting right now. And as a reminder, that's also the case of all of the Board of Supervisors meetings for all of those of you who represent that group, and as well as the City Council meetings on Tuesday nights. It's a part of what you funded in 2014 and our promise to continue broadcasting those government meetings. Hometown TV and Game of the Week continue to provide outreach into the community based on special funds that you provide to use our big HD truck. It's an exciting opportunity. We keep doing more and more with that, and that means that our student athletes are seen by colleges in ways that they otherwise would not be able to be seen. But parades, workshops, and material that otherwise would not be on television in Sacramento County is all a part of the voice that we provide to members of the community, and it's all made possible because of all of you. With your permission, I have a short video, but since we have several speakers and some of them are featured in that video, I'd like to hold that and come back after several other speakers make a couple of comments, and we'll show the video at the end. Okay. And with that, I'll hand off and introduce on our behalf our new board chair. I'm actually completing his first year as board chair. His name is Don Henkel, and we're delighted. He is an Access member and now the Access board chair, hosts a TV show, and we're delighted to have him.
First off, thank you for allowing me to have a couple of minutes. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the Commission for, like Gary said, continuing to fund Access Sacramento. Last year, we heard the message from the Commission that we need to diversify our funding loud and clear, and I'm proud to say that with the invigoration of new board members this past year, we have brought a whole new culture to Access Sacramento, and that also includes diversifying our funding through different types of fundraising events. Obviously, we have our yearly place called Sacramento Film Festival, which last year was a total sellout before the actual event even happened. We had our first Power Voice Gala honoring Patrick Harbison last year at Mulvaney's, which was a sellout. This year, we'll be honoring Gina Knepp from the Front Street Animal Shelter right here in Sacramento. We already know that will be a sellout as well. What I really want to say is that with this new board, I have been very privileged and honored to be their chair, but we have a new culture at Access. We want to reach out even more. Gary talked about the HD truck. We want to be out there broadcasting more local events. He talked about KUBU Radio 96.5. You guys know we have an app for that?
Yes.
We have an app for 96.5. Okay, it's awesome. That means outside of our broadcast zone, anybody in the country or technically in the global world can listen to KUBU 96.5 FM. So on behalf of the board, I would just like to say thank you for continuing to fund us. We are the power of voice in Sacramento. Access Sacramento, making difference one voice at a time, and good old KUBU, the voice of Sacramento. We thank you again. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce a new board member, Mark Freeman, too.
Welcome, Mark.
Thank you very much. I'm a new board member of Access Sacramento. Very excited. I was a member of Access when they first started. Actually, when they were at the church on K Street many, many years ago, if anyone remembers that far back. And Access really gave me my first glimpse at what I could do with media, what I could do with doing community outreach, and in turn started my own company where I do multimedia communications for many of the nonprofits and small governments in this area. And what I've seen that there was truly a need for nonprofits in this area, community organizations, grassroots organizations that have that voice. Many times they use the internet, but that's not always the best way. So my hopes as a new board member is really to help connect the various communities of the Sacramento region with the resource of Access Sacramento, and really to reach out with my community contacts as being an ALF senior fellow. I know some of you guys are ALF senior fellows as well as my work with Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Program, and bringing all those contacts to Access Sacramento, and we'll see, as the new president said, a new culture there. So I want to thank you for the resources that you provide us. And I'm right now in the learning phase, but you'll see me as a champion throughout the different community meetings, and my face will be a regular presence representing Access Sacramento. Thank you.
So Mark, I'm really excited, and to you guys that you picked up Mark as a member of the board and willing to, because he's been coming in and doing stuff in nonprofit groups and some of the groups that I've been around, and seeing some amazing technology at it was specifically at a doctor, all black doctor conference where he was having it on the web and streaming. And so on being on point, picking up someone like that is amazing. So good job, guys.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board, my name is Steve Beck. I have been a history guide and history program lead for California State Parks for almost 21 years now. I am also a local historian, writer, researcher, and it's in that volunteer position that I came to Sacramento Access. I have a unique position in that I get to see who comes and visits Sutter's Fort and other historic sites in our region, and there are hundreds of school kids that come through, but there are thousands of school kids that do not have that opportunity because of the cost of bus transportation or the availability of buses. There are students that are denied that. With that in mind, public access does just what their name implies. It provides access, and they invited me along with producer Bob Crimmins to come on and talk history. We study the curriculum standards for California elementary schools, although I happen to know that our history programs are being used in high school and in the university level as well. But matter of fact, we talk about what the California state flag and all of its elements are about. And we bring history to people that would not otherwise have access. And to those people that can't access Sacramento Access, we have also, through their generosity and the use of their equipment, we're able to produce DVDs on various parks within the region: Sutter's Fort, Marshall Goldfield's discovery, the Transcontinental Railroad, the Stanford Mansion, and many other of the parks. It's our hope to extend these, and with your generosity, we'll be able to offer even more product to more people. So thank you for what you do for all of Sacramento.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Bob?
Hi, my name is Bob Crimmins, and I'm a producer at Access Sacramento. And I got a gift for each one of you. I guess this isn't bribery, is it? I don't think so. Anyhow, this is what we do. And there's one here for each one of you. And it's a tour of Sutter's Fort, before Sutter's Fort, during Sutter's Fort, and after Sutter's Fort. So by the time you're done watching this, you can become a docent at Sutter's Fort, guaranteed. And this is what we send out to all the school kids all over the state of California at no costs. And if I were to ask you guys, why is there one star on the California flag? Does anybody know? If I ask, why is there a red stripe on the bottom? Anybody know? Well, I'm going to tell you something. I spent 4 hours down at the state capitol one day, went in and out of offices, politicians' offices, and asked them that. And their aides and their secretaries and the policemen standing down there by the governor's office, and everybody, not one person could answer why that is on that flag, and it's filled with those flags at the state capitol, and they don't know. So that's what we're teaching school kids. Why is there a red star? Why is there a strip in the bottom? So anyhow, you can jot this down too, livinginthewest.com. You can go see us. There we are. And I have a little thing here, and I just want to show you, just to show you what, like you say, we spend a lot of money on these people. What are they doing with it? Well, that's what we're trying to show you. That's one thing we're doing, and that video would not exist without You guys. So by you guys helping finance us, you guys are part of the team that are going to help teach all the school kids in the whole entire state of California. So we already got that set up. So anyhow, here's a little thing I got, and I just want to show you real quick here of how the money is spent that you put out. So anyhow, I got this resolution 10 years ago. I was standing right here, and the mayor came down and presented it to me. And I didn't know when they got in touch. They sent me a letter and said they want to see me at the Board of Supervisors meeting. And I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do? They didn't tell me anything, so I came down and I sat right over there. And then finally, they had a point. They called me up, and I came up, and they came down and they gave me a plaque, a real plaque with this whole thing on it, and it said here, and holy cow, I had no idea. Anyhow, just let me read you two little quick things so you get an idea. It says, whereas, resolution in recognition of Bob Crimmins receiving a Heroes of Human Services Award. Whereas Mr. Bob Crimmins for the past 25 years has voluntarily helped people improve their lives and so on and so forth. And it goes into where I also trained paralyzed veterans and taught them how to use their computer by talking to it. Did you know you can do that? You can do that. But for 8 years I did that. And then also, it says, therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Supervisors, County of Sacramento, State of California, does hereby congratulate Mr. Bob Crimmins for being a real hero in our community and for making it a better place through his many volunteer service efforts. Okay, I did all this stuff because you guys helped support us. I wouldn't have this. I couldn't do this. That disc wouldn't exist. All them school kids would not get that education on all this California history without you guys. So there you go. Thank you. So you're now part of the team. Thank you. Okay.
There'll be a test on the California flag.
Yeah.
So Bob, that we have to view this to get the answer to your questions?
No, that's Sutter's Fort.
Okay.
The program is the Bear Flag Revolt that we did.
So where's the red dot? Where's the red star come from?
It was a tip-off to...
Texas for 10 years had been the Lone Star Republic. Texas became a state December 28, 1845. California, in declaring its independence in June of 1846, was going to be the new Lone Star Republic. Of course, that republic only lasted for 3 weeks. They raised the American flag over Monterey on July 7th, and thus began the American occupation of California. The red stripe stood for the blood they were willing to shed to keep California free and independent. The interesting story about it is the red stripe was cut from the underwear of Uncle Billy Elliot.
and tell him one more
Talk about giving it all up for his rebellion.
Tell him one more thing about who made that flag.
William Todd, who was the nephew of Mary Todd Lincoln.
What's that?
Abraham Lincoln. At that time, a first stern congressman from Illinois.
Wow.
So there you go.
Very
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this program, Living in the West, on Access Sacramento, only exists on Access Sacramento and on the livingonthewest.com website, going out to all of the fourth graders in the state of California. You can tell from our members and from our board how passionate they are about the good work that we're doing on our channel. 286 live meetings captioned by Metro, another 350. We had 2,800 original programs on Access Sacramento's channels this year, and it's an exciting time for us. In concluding, let me show you a short video of some things that are happening on our channel, including some pictures of Steve and Bob talking about living in the West. And thank you again for your support. Here's our video.
You're welcome, Gary.
You know, I hope today we can answer some of those questions that you raised and give people a feeling of what life was like before there were automobiles.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Shop TV, and this is Ken Hamidi. On May 6th, the Yuzuro Family Urban Farm and its volunteers gathered at a local Oak Park residence to build a garden and promote healthy communities.
Yeah, coming up live on Livewire, we've got a great show for you today. What are these guys right here?
This is part of a Rhea eggshell, and it's
Rhea.
all hand carved.
Okay, so let me introduce you to Maureen, who is one of our amazing, amazing talented artists.
Here we go. Hold on to yourselves. Low snap down to get it. Fire to the right. Oh my goodness.
We talk about on the slalom skis that the tail of the ski, a lot of people think that because the tail of the ski has the fin on it, that it's just going to carve around and it's not going to slide. But these guys, they need the tail of that ski to actually break loose and slide around a little bit.
Body, gotta snatch it back from that nobody. Huh.
From the psychedelic mind of Moses, waters are wide.
Welcome to this broadcast of local civic public meetings presented by Access Sacramento and KUBU-LP 96.5 FM.
My name is Spanish Fly. I do Spanish Fly flashbacks like I do every single Monday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Night Train Jazz Show right here, 96.5.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, our last speaker in this item is David Lowe.
Good afternoon. David Lowe with KVIA. Just wanted to thank you for approving the budget, and also wanted to share that with your generosity, it helps us be one of the most prolific producers of local content of all the PBS stations. And I have just a quick video to recap some of that, and because of your generosity, we'll be doing even more this year. If you have any questions, I can take them, but otherwise I'll sit back and enjoy it with you.
Any questions for Dave?
Thank you. All right, don't roll tape, but push button.
To the air that we breathe, from the depths of the earth to the stars.
Light up the world, run like you're born to fly. Live like you'll never die. Dare what you dare to dream, and everything in between.
I had an epiphany one night, looking at the endless star-filled sky.
A lot of times people second guess children and look down on them, and they're absolutely amazing.
The world is ours. The world is ours.
I would love for us as a society to get to the point where we work together.
We know that every kid comes in there with a dream.
This is about what is right.
Sing out your battle cry under the stage and sky. Oceans and land divide, united we feel inside.
The world is ours.
4 years ago, I dumped ice over my head. Now we're doing the opposite with the hot pepper. Wowza.
Una mulita, por favor.
We're making memories every day, and I want to look back at fond memories wherever this business goes.
I think that art is universal because when you create a vibe and when you create something that is inclusive of everyone, then like that's the place where everyone wants to be.
The world is ours.
Impressive.
Thank you, David. Well, you guys put together some great videos, and appreciate all that you guys do for the community, the cross-section of how you all overlap a little bit, but different in each way as well. So thank all of you. Next item.
Your next item is your state franchisee reports.
So is there, I don't see, have any speaker slips. Is there anybody here from AT&T, Comcast, or Consolidated? So I guess we'll move to next item.
And your last item is your public comments.
So public comment. Members of the audience, let me put my glasses on so I can read this. Members of the audience may comment on any interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes. No action may be taken on non-agendized items raised under public comment until the matter has been specifically included on a future agenda for discussion and action. If a member of the public wants a response to a specific question, they're encouraged to contact the commission staff or any board member. So we will open public comment. We have no one signed up to speak. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to come forward? Gary, you're not allowed. We'll close public comment. Before we adjourn, I did want to, I was remiss on thanking the board for, I guess I got voluntold that I would be back, but no, thank you. It's an honor to serve, and thank you. And Bob, Harriet, Renee, Karen, you guys are awesome to work with, and appreciate everything you do, and look forward to another year working together. Again, Matt, thank you. Welcome. So with that, we'll adjourn the meeting.